maybe on the most, I mean, keeping the tax cuts and some of the incentives might get GDP up to 3. I think Kevin Hassert said that. Even then, it's going to be 5% of GDP. I don't know why they can't go in and cut, but already there's people in the Senate, I think Jody Ernst is one of them, who doesn't want to cut any Medicaid and says that it's going to be a hardship on red state rural voters. And so they basically kept all of the spending that Joe Biden, that he brought in, the $7 trillion deficit. And the Moody's, I don't know why they're doing this. Moody's already, for the first time in history, maybe it was unfair, but since 1917, they've never downgraded us. And now we're downgraded one step, the bond market is saturated with, $37 trillion in debt and then a $2 trillion budget deficit. And I don't think the budget deficit is going to go down at all.
Yeah, I don't see anybody with the vision to reverse this course. Everybody's saying, well, we got to do it the Democrats' way. We got to keep doing it the Democrats' way. And I think the Democrats' way is a quick trip down the toilet bowl. Meantime, Harvard, speaking of Democrats, has filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration. They want to continue to import foreign students who hate our country into their institutions, so-called institutions of higher learning. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, what they do is they say, and that's what they do. They bring a lot of foreign students. And I work at Stanford, and the Stanford Review just published a damning, if I could use that word, scathing attack on foreign students from China and said that the espionage is overt and not uninterrupted. But what they'll tell us is that we bring in students from 150 countries and they do all this vital medical research and et cetera, but what they don't tell us is the numbers of students from the Middle East and China now predominate we've got about almost 450,000 students from those two areas, and those two countries give in the last 30 years about $40 to $50 billion to these elite universities. So that's what the Trump administration is trying to do. All Harvard had to do was comply and just turn over the records and say, these are what we know of our foreign students. Here's the videos. You see if any of the foreign students have been engaged in violence, anti-Semitic, and they wouldn't do it. So they'll probably win in the lower court. I don't know if they'll win in the Supreme Court, but there is a value at what Trump is doing, even when he's blocked, because he's sending a message. You really don't want to get in an argument with this because you have racial separated dorms, graduation ceremonies, admissions. You have a 50% overhead on grants. You don't support support the First Amendment on campus. There's all sorts of things they do, and they're rife with anti-Semitism. And I just don't think that they want to get in a knockdown, drag-out fight because they have so much exposure the public hasn't really fully digested.
Yeah, and to all you institutions of higher learning, if you don't want to play by the rules, it's real simple. Don't take federal taxpayer money. It's that simple. Look, I've only got about a minute left, Victor. Turning to foreign policy, you say that President Trump's been so successful because he takes a mercantile approach, pushing for profits over death. I think it's a very accurate and succinct breakdown of the Trump doctrine. Expand on it for me for about a minute.
Well, I mean, he's not doing optional ground invasions of the Middle East. And what he's saying is, as a builder, that when you have a mercantile relationship with neutrals and allies, you're closer than just paper treaties because you have mutual interests. So there's going to be a DMZ in Ukraine and people will profit. Maybe there'll be something in Gaza where people will profit. Maybe he can work out something with the Europeans. But the idea is if both sides are committed and want to profit in a mutual fashion, then there's less likely to be war. But his critics, of course, say it's not idealistic, but I would like them to show me the idealism of bombing Gaddafi out of Libya and what happened, or intervention in Syria and what happened, or is Afghanistan a better place now than when $3 trillion ago in 20 years. So there's not a good record of this ecumenical, globalist, UN nation building. So I think it's preferable to that.
When everybody's making money and everybody's getting fed, they tend not to be shooting at one another. Victor Davis Hanson, thank you very much. Always appreciate the time and analysis.